Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're doing something incredibly unique. We are taking a 24-hour synthesis of the flow of information. We've gathered 41 rapid-fire updates, posts, and interactions straight from Elon Musk's feed over a single day, and we're structuring them into one cohesive journey. It's a truly fascinating cross-section of tech, business, and cultural commentary, all unfolding in real time. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. This agenda is going to act as our roadmap today. We'll start in the macro-physical world with Section 1, Hardware, Tesla, and Tech. Then, Section 2 is Aerospace and Starlink. From there, we move to the micro-digital frontier in Section 3, Mind and Machine. And finally, we'll zoom all the way out to human society in Section 4, Society, Politics, and Philosophy. Starting things off with Section 1, Hardware, Tesla, and Tech. Let's get grounded in the physical infrastructure of these ventures.
2 terawatt-hours. By Q2 of 2026, that is the massive amount of electricity Tesla's superchargers are projected to deliver globally. To put that kind of scale into perspective, that's enough juice to power 180,000 U.S. homes for an entire year. Now, what's absolutely crucial here is that despite seeing a 17% year-over-year growth, wait times have actually dropped below 0.5%. So we're watching this rapidly become a true, highly efficient global energy network. Now, shifting gears to robotics. Tesla's Optimus humanoid robot presents a very different manufacturing challenge. Musk actually noted that production is going to be, quote, extremely slow at first as everything is new, pointing out that this isn't just like assembling a car. There's a running theory right now that Tesla actually stopped showing Optimus version 3 demos just to prevent competitors from copying their unexpectedly advanced actuators. So while it seems quiet, interviews suggest production is actually ahead of schedule, meaning when they do finally drop it, the competition might literally have no time to react.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly the kind of grassroots hardware engineering that catches Musk's eye on the feed. Take Thomas Salvo's college dorm project. This guy built the world's fastest amateur RC airplane right next to his bed. It's got a 5-kilogram carbon fiber frame and a 250-Newton turbojet, letting it fly at 500 miles per hour. Musk replied nice, and even threw out the idea of launching it from a mountain where the air density is lower to hit supersonic speeds. Which makes sense, especially since the aviation company Boom is hanging a $100,000 bounty for the first amateur RC plane to break Mach 1.
All right, let's transition sharply, zooming out to orbital tech and heavy rocketry with Section 2, Aerospace, SpaceX, and Starlink. 0.0003%. It's a microscopic number, right? Well, this statistic frames a recent lawsuit regarding SpaceX's land use. The federal government is being sued over SpaceX acquiring 715 acres of a Texas wildlife refuge. But the feed clarifies this isn't a giveaway at all. It's a land exchange. SpaceX is trading 683 acres of their own private land for those 715 acres of public land. When you map that against the National Wildlife Refuge System's 95 million acres, this swap represents a change of literally just 0.00003%. The whole rationale is just that rocket facilities need coastal, rural isolation. And hey, alongside this terrestrial maneuvering, SpaceX also quietly announced they completed and tested their 10,000th Merlin 1D engine.
Up in orbit, Starlink is rapidly evolving into a global emergency and education infrastructure. Just look at these milestones. In the Philippines, Starlink is hitting 253 megabits per second on small aircraft, giving vital connectivity for emergency medical transports in totally isolated regions. Over in Japan, they're testing mounting Starlink tech on 120,000 fire hydrants to act as pop-up Wi-Fi hubs during natural disasters. And in Paraguay, they're deploying satellite internet to 1,600 isolated schools, plugging over 50,000 students into the digital world. So Starlink isn't just internet anymore, it's becoming a critical global lifeline. Okay, time to reset for a second. We are jumping from the physical world into the digital and biological frontier. Section 3, Mind and Machine. We are seeing these highly realistic AI video generation showdowns happening all the time now, like a prompt run through Claude 2.0 versus Grok Agent Mode, yielding these incredibly lifelike results. But amidst this explosive growth, Musk shared a pretty blunt stance on the industry itself. He basically stated that these entities are companies, and it's pompous for them to keep calling themselves labs. He envisions a future where AI and robots handle everything, making human work optional and leading to a universal high income. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is getting a glimpse into how artificial intelligence actually thinks. A user caught the AI model Claude leaking its completely unfiltered inner reasoning during a brutal competitive programming problem. Instead of spitting out a clean answer, the interface leaked what was described as frantic caveman shorthand. The model was essentially muttering to itself, inventing its own private, highly token-efficient language to solve the problem before it polished the final output into proper English for the user.
And that brings us to a fascinating new economic concept: token capital. Musk reposted Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella's quote that the firm of the future is basically a learning loop where human capital and token capital compound together. Every enterprise is going to turn its knowledge workflows into these continuously improving AI systems. The sheer speed of this compounding knowledge is exactly why the feed highlighted the humorous concept of developers getting, quote, one-shotted by AI psychosis, which is that sudden, terrifying realization of just how fast these models are eclipsing traditional human problem-solving.
1 trillion transistors. Just to briefly anchor the hardware that's driving all this AI, the industry is on track to pack 1 trillion transistors into a single microprocessor package by the end of the decade. That means tomorrow's devices will have a density and processing power that's almost unimaginable to us right now.
Merging the biological with that digital world, we look at Neuralink. They hit a massive clinical trial milestone by successfully inserting an electrode thread straight through the brain's tough outer armor, the dura, into the cortex, while keeping the dura itself completely intact. Peter Diamandis voiced his excitement that this mass rollout of brain-machine interfaces is going to have profound medical implications. Musk echoed that, claiming Neuralink will eventually allow quadriplegics to walk again and enable what he boldly called Jesus-level miracles for the completely blind.
Let's mentally reset once more. We are zooming all the way out to socio-political commentary now. Keeping strict neutrality as we report on the feed's contents, this is Section 4, Society, Politics, and Philosophy.
Starting with government infrastructure, a huge milestone was reached in federal bureaucracy. For decades, U.S. federal retirement processing relied on a massive, entirely paper-based system hidden deep underground in a limestone mine in Boyers, Pennsylvania. Following public attention and initial discussions, which the feed credited to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, the government has finally turned the page, ending paper processing and moving to a fully digital retirement service.
The feed also highlighted several pointed criticisms regarding wealth and government accountability. For instance, Peter Thiel compared potential unchecked fraud in USAID to the 1980s Oliver North scandal, basically arguing that a lack of digital accountability software creates massive overreach. The feed also neutrally surfaced claims about politician Ro Khanna's young children allegedly owning private golf courses earning millions, alongside critiques of mainstream media, specifically calling out a Wall Street Journal post that was later deleted.
Addressing some highly charged cultural debates, specifically a recent Supreme Court ruling regarding transgender athletes in women's sports, Musk engaged with commentators who are arguing against the ruling on biological grounds. He responded to the discussion directly with this exact quote: "How ironic that women would undermine women."
So the crucial point is how these cultural debates are increasingly crossing into legislation. Take California's AB 2624, which critics on the feed are dubbing the Stop Nick Shirley Act. The argument highlighted there is that this bill criminalizes citizens or journalists who film and expose fraud inside immigrant community support services. Engaging with this topic, Musk expressed his view that providing welfare, free money, and housing acts as a massive forcing function that naturally draws illegal immigration.
The feed also aggregated several tragic and violent events to comment on crime and justice. This included disturbing footage of a fight in Birmingham and a deeply tragic road rage incident that resulted in the death of a mother and the premature C-section delivery of her baby. Shifting to how violence and victimhood are portrayed culturally, Musk agreed with a quoted claim that European film festivals, like the Berlinale, exhibit extreme political bias in the types of stories they are willing to showcase on screen.
Moving from modern politics to historical philosophy, the feed shared the really fascinating story of New Harmony, Indiana. Back in 1825, a wealthy industrialist named Robert Owen bought an entire, fully functioning town just to prove that a socialist community could thrive. He had the funding, the buildings, and the followers. Yet by 1827, it collapsed completely. A century later, economists analyzed the failure, and the feed quoted the ultimate lesson drawn from it. When everyone owns everything, no one owns anything. When labor earns the same reward regardless of effort, effort disappears.
That historical narrative naturally transitioned into a summary of Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged shared on the feed. It outlined the book's core philosophy,
that society relies on a very small number of highly capable producers, inventors, and engineers. But when a system begins rewarding need over achievement, treating success like a debt to be taxed, those producers eventually ask why they even bother. Led by the archetype of John Galt, they don't fight the system. They just quietly withdraw, setting the weight of the world down and causing the entire structure to collapse.
Let's move to our final thought and see how this all builds up. After heavy discussions of societal collapse, the feed offered a surprising, slightly bizarre pivot, a lighthearted audio clip between Peter Diamandis and Elon Musk. Diamandis asked Musk if he truly wanted a pet miniature woolly mammoth. Musk enthusiastically agreed, saying it would be epic and adorable to have a tiny mammoth trumpeting around. So, as we wrap up this 24-hour synthesis, having covered everything from supersonic dorm projects to AI's private languages to profound socio-economic philosophy, we have to ask, with the relentless acceleration of technology we've witnessed today, how long until that miniature woolly mammoth is actually running around someone's living room? Think about that. And we'll see you in the next explainer.